All right, man. Talk to talk. You know what it is, man. I'm back. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? All right, man. So I figured I'll keep on going, dropping some more videos. This one is not going to be that long. Well, it might be pretty long. It might be pretty long. Yeah, it's not going to be long, but it's going to be long enough. All right. So look, man. Today's episode. I wanted to get to this a long time ago, but I never got a chance to. But I have a lot to say about Little Nas X, and the fall that Little Nas X had was nothing short of remarkable, in my opinion. So we gonna get into that. Before I get into that, you know how I gotta get a spill. This is Torture Talk. If you like the content, please consider subscribing. If you're new here, let me work for your subscription today. All the beautiful, single, sexy ladies, put one in the chat, baby. All the fellas, y'all know where to find the ones that just don't harass them. I don't sell no merch, but I do have content absolutely free. But if you want to leave a donation, link is in the description. Cash App, no more PayPal. They call me the Hidden Gem. I went from 13 subscribers over 17,000. And yes, I am the King of the North. Let me know what kingdom you from. The Night King is in the building. I will be attending the GNX concert. So if you see me, you'll see me with the crown and all that good stuff. Just come up to me, give me a handshake, hug me, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Take a picture. I post it. I do all that. So look, man, we gonna get into this, man, cause this is crazy. I'm telling y'all now. So be prepared. All right, this comes courtesy of Lewester. You know what it is. So look, man, we gonna get into this, and I got a lot to say about this. So be prepared.
One minute, you could be looking like a future king of the music industry after proving that not only are you more than a one-hit wonder you were believed to be, but a record-breaking artist who knew how to wrap the culture around your finger with meticulous marketing skills. The next, all of those tactics, which once paid off, aren't hitting the same anymore, as people begin to wonder if there's any real substance behind all the formerly shocking antics that they're now accustomed to. You might wonder how it's possible that someone who has 3 Billboard #1s could fumble this badly, but this isn't a hypothetical situation. It really happened to one rapper whose bag of tricks now looks pretty empty and whose music and media manipulation isn't hitting anywhere the same anymore. It's your boy Luesta, and this is the fall of Lil Nas X. These days, Lil Nas X's music videos might score a million views or two, with some fans clicking on to see what this once infamous creative is now doing. And while some people would be delighted with those views, it's a major decline for a man whose breakout song has over 1 billion on the platform, with several others approaching that mark. Likewise, he hasn't had a single chart on the
All right, so I wanted to get to this for a long time about Lil Nas X. And I wanted to get to this when he did the Montero, whatever the album's called. I wanted to do an episode about this back then, but now that I have a lot of time because I can't go nowhere right now because it's raining really hard outside. Now that I have some time, I say, you know what? I might as well do the episode now. So I have a lot to say about this. I'm gonna put it to you like this: the powers that be was using Little Nas X to influence young kids, not just black, not just white, but young kids who would listen to certain propaganda in a certain community. That's all I'm gonna say. I think that I don't have a problem with that community, but I think that the ideology that was being pushed by Little Nas X, people could say he was trolling. Listen, let me explain something to y'all. Trolling is trolling. I understand. But you do have to understand. Trolling is taken seriously by certain people because we live in the age of memes. So a lot of young kids, they don't look at trolling as the way adults look at trolling. They look at trolling as something, a means of a way to express yourself, and they take it seriously. So we're gonna get into it.
billboards since January 2024, and even then, it was a far cry from the history-making runs he was once going on. And now, people including the infamous Azalea Banks are starting to take notice. Lil Nas X really fell off so hard. That little rag swore she was the T. Bitch has no bars. Even though he rightly clapped back to claim.
It's one thing that I can't stand about Azalea Banks is she is one of those type of people who just wants to be a contrarian. She just want to be controversial. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't really like Lil Nas X either, but if I have specific reasons. But she just always want to be in the conversation, and she is an absolute nobody. Like, I don't understand how anybody would take anything Azalea Banks says seriously. Sometimes I think that people just, they look forward to her saying something crazy because they know she is the one that just says crazy stuff. But she's a nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, she hasn't done anything. She hasn't done anything for hip hop. She hasn't done anything that will move the needle forward. She's just one of those type of people that she's just in the way. And we don't need people like that. We definitely don't. So, let's keep it going.
That he would still be more successful than her without another hit in his entire career, that's ultimately not where this Atlanta-based LGBTQ artist wants to be. At just 26 years old, the last thing they should be doing is relying on past wins. And during his early rise, it seemed like that was the last thing he intended to do. In fact, he had dreams of being a generational artist who could make it in any genre he chose.
I'm not gonna ever have one sound, and it's not that I'm confused about what I'm trying to be, it's that I'm not trying to have one sound. I don't want people like, okay, oh, another Lil Nas X song, basically.
But to trace how it went wrong, we first need to head back to the beginning to pinpoint exactly where he started taking the wrong turns. Since he first gained prominence, Lil Nas X has always been immersed in controversy. Arguably, he was trained for it after spending his time as a barb, leading a Nicki Minaj stan account called Nas Mirage in his youth. But just living vicariously through his idol wasn't enough for him. Instead, Nas had dreams of obtaining fame in his own right, and soon he dropped out of school to pursue music. And
see, I think that society has molded people like Lil Nas X to get a pass at certain things that they do and spit in the face of normal ideology or normal things that goes on in the world. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know a lot of y'all not going to want to hear this. I don't agree with a lot of things that Lil Nas X did. I don't. And I'm sure y'all don't either. I'm sure y'all don't agree, even though y'all probably like him, but I'm sure y'all don't agree either. But there's a lot of things that he has done throughout his career that is 100% offensive to people. And I think a lot of people out here, they pretend as if it's not a big deal. It could be a couple of reasons why. One of the main reasons why is because a lot of y'all don't like conservatism. And he spits in the face of what conservatism is, but a good portion of y'all, especially us as blacks, we do believe, y'all believe Jesus Christ, y'all believe in heaven and hell, y'all believe in the Lord of above. So y'all are stuck between a rock and a hard place because y'all sit here and act as if it's okay for him to do these things, but yet and still, you totally are against that when it comes to the religion that you believe in. So a lot of times I look at these outlets and I look at a lot of these people who say that they're Christians and they allow this guy to actually mock their religion as if that's something to do and they okay with it. Some of the things I just don't understand. A lot of y'all keep your mouth shut because y'all so afraid to actually offend people when y'all getting offended. How does that make sense? You're being offended and you are afraid to say something about you're being offended because you're afraid you're going to offend them. It just doesn't make sense. But let's keep it going.
As a little unemployed kid with little to no prospects, he had no choice but to make it. And after dropping a few tracks in hope of making it, he was no further forward. That is until he stumbled upon a track produced by the Dutch producer Young Keo, which he purchased for $30.
I would always get my beats like from YouTube. I'll just go through like 100 beats.
It's really just luck that people just find your stuff, you know? It's really luck.
I found the beat on like Halloween night. the beat was just speaking to me, you know. I was like, this song gonna be great.
Did you conceive of the song as a country rap song?
Country trap. But like if I had to choose which one is more leaning towards, it would definitely be country. I got the horses in the bag.
Horse stack is attached. Hat is matted black. Got the bushes black to match.
That beat became the origins of Old Town Road, a simple song which fused hip-hop with classic country imagery. And from the outset, Nas knew that he had a winner due to his knowledge of how the meme-infested world worked. I got the horses in the back. I was like, this is gonna be the highlight of the memes right here. He informed NPR. And then, the cowboy hat from Gucci, Wrangler on my booty. I was like, these are all quotable. I was just doing that the entire month of making the song. Put this right here. Oh, this is gonna be the best plan ever. And you know it worked. After promoting the song through TikTok at a time.
Now, I will say that his promotion game was crazy. You can't lie about that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's the truth. He got a lot of people on it, and I think that he understood how the viral TikTok trends work. He did, and this is the reason why he was at that time. He understood how all of these trends work. I think TikTok was just coming around, but he knew exactly how it was working, and that's why he did what he did. But it gets a little bit deeper than that, because this is just before everybody knew where he was going with it. And I think that some people didn't know how reckless he was going to get. Let's keep it going.
When the platform was just taking off, Old Town Road became an online sensation, and soon it made its attack on the Billboard Hot 100. And here, we have the first time that Lil Nas X learned that controversy will only make you a bigger star, when a ruling was made that it should be excluded from the country charts. Upon further review, it was determined that Old Town Road by Lil Nas X does not currently merit inclusion on Billboard's country charts. When determining genres, a few factors are examined, but first and foremost is musical composition. While Old Town Road incorporates references to country and cowboy imagery, it does not embrace enough elements of today's country music to chart in its current version. With accusations of discrimination,
I could absolutely understand that. I can. It's the same. I mean, I'll put it to you like this: if hip hop publications and media was to police hip hop the same way, then we'll have the same outcome. This is not considered hip hop because it might have some elements of hip hop, but it's not hip hop. But we don't do that. We allow people to just do whatever, and then we complain about it. But the country committee or whoever's running that, they don't want to play that, and I don't blame them. I don't care if you're saying it's trap country. I don't care. We consider what we consider country. It's not a racist thing. Y'all might say it is, but it's not. We consider what we consider country, just like we consider what we consider hip hop. It's not our fault that rappers run in here and we let them run in here and rap, and then say they're not hip hop. Post Malone, we let him do it, but we okay with it because he give away rollies and he give away cars and stuff like that. So we okay with Post Malone doing it, but we don't want to police it. I don't blame him. I don't blame country for doing that. And look, they was right.
in the air, Lil Nas had the culture on his side, with everyone believing that it should be reinstated immediately.
When you get to like the country charts, you know what I'm saying? And then they pull your song off the country charts when they say it's not country enough or it's not country music. Does that affect you in any way?
At first it was just like, all right, okay, I'm still on Billboard.
Right.
But then I looked at, what people say. I was like, okay, this does make sense. Okay, like I'm listening to other songs and I'm like, there's some trap elements in some of these. What's going on? And like, it was like, okay. I was like disappointed. It was just like, okay, whatever. I didn't want to get, blackballed.
Yeah. And then you probably didn't want to play that whole black card too.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Because it's like,
because I played it for you. I was like, man, if he was Caucasian, they would have him on there. You know what I'm saying? So you didn't have to say it. You know?
I didn't.
With Billy Ray Cyrus eventually coming to his aid.
I mean, I'll be honest with y'all. This is just me. I'm sick and tired of us hiding behind the black card when we know we wrong about stuff. Like, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong. You already know. Like, y'all didn't even got to question me. Like, you already know I'm all for anything black. But I hate the fact that you have people who hide behind it, and that's not the true sentiment of them. Now, I'll give y'all an example. If Kendrick Lamar or if Jay-Z or Nas came out and used the black card and say, you don't want to do this because I'm black, I would 100% support it, because I know for a fact that they mean what they say and they stand on what they say. But if somebody like Lil Nas X come out, and I know he didn't say it, but Big Boy said it, and he said it for him. If somebody like that come out and say, and they use the black card, I don't get it, because I know for a fact that you don't stand on that, because at any given moment you're gonna do something that doesn't really necessarily, not to say you're not black, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you standing on your blackness. You're gonna be a hypocrite in a second, the next second over. So why should I back you for that? You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody claiming that they black power, but they marry a white person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't understand how you say, I'm strong in my black spot, but you won't marry a black woman or a black man. Like, I get it. I understand. And what I mean by that is like a person that you say you directly against. Because you can marry whoever you want. But if you are directly against white people, calling white supremacy and all that, but then you marry a white person, like, I mean, what can I say to you? You know what I'm saying? Should I say that you standing on your blackness? You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. Let's keep it going.
A version that could enable them to make the country charts. Lil Nas maintained that the song is country trap. It's not one, it's not the other. It's both. It should be on both. Well, whatever it was, the fact is that it was doing the kinds of numbers he could live off forever.
I mean, you beat Drake #1 streaming. Like, how?
I don't like saying beat Drake. Let's just say I did #1 streaming.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but that's a really big deal for 20 years old, you know?
Yeah, it is. It's insane.
You're speechless at this point. Exactly.
And I also think that him being so young and him being so successful so fast like that, I think that he didn't really know what to do. I think that he thought that Old Town Road wasn't gonna blow up like that. I think he thought it was just gonna be regular. Maybe he thought it'd blow up, but he didn't know it was gonna be of that magnitude. I think Old Town Road is the biggest song of all time, one of the biggest songs of all time. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, or the highest selling song of all time, something like that. But I don't think he understood the magnitude of that, because once you go viral, you can go viral for a couple of reasons, but if you go viral for a song like that, it's hard to come back from that. But let's keep it going.
All every single day.
Over time, it reached an unprecedented 17th week at #1, beating Despacito to become the all-time longest-running #1. Since then, that figure has expanded to 19 weeks, making him a true record breaker. While the song and the remixes that came with it were still riding high, Lil Nas X's 7 EP proved that he wasn't a one-trick pony with tracks like Panini. But it also marked the turning point where he revealed that he was gay by coming out with the release of the insightful track Closure, You Like. In the aftermath, it became a part of the narrative around him, and by telling his story, he hoped it could have had an impact on others.
Don't you think you coming out could probably help others who are struggling the way you were struggling with it?
I think it's gonna always.
Okay, so I'm gonna let him finish his statement, but then I have something to say about that. I mean to cut him off, but I'm gonna let him finish his statement. Let me run that back a little bit.
Him. And by telling his story, he hoped it could have had an impact on others.
Don't you think you coming out could probably help others who are struggling the way you were struggling with it?
I think it's gonna always help. You still have a long way to go, because it's not like everybody is like messing with me now. Because of course, somebody who's like listening to me in school right now, it's like, you gay because you're listening to him. So it's like, it's still a lot to be done, of course, but I do believe it's helping.
In a culture that's as macho.
See, this is the issue that I have, right? This is the issue I have. And listen, I don't care, man. I'm just going to say it. This is the issue I have. I have the issue with flamboyancy. I do. I have an issue with it. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're not just cosplaying a character. You're actually saying this is who you are. Now, if that's who you are, cool. I just don't agree with it. I don't. But off of that, when she asked him the question, don't you think that this is going to help people come out that's afraid to come out, right? The reason why I have an issue with that is the fact that you can come out whenever you want. But I think that a lot of kids are confused into believing that they are this because of what the culture of this culture, this mean culture and this type of ideology has presented to them. I think that it was presented to them in a way where they were captured, if you understand what I'm saying. All right, so I'll give you an example. When I was growing up, it was the big thing with smoking cigarettes. That was peer pressure. That was the biggest thing. Even though you wasn't a smoker, they made you feel like you had to smoke that cigarette because it was peer pressure. I think that a lot of kids are suffering the same type of the mentality that we did when we were growing up. It's acceptance. You know what I'm saying? Now and again, you could dress like this if you want, but it's acceptance. This is what it is. And I think a lot of people are afraid to say this. A lot of kids just want to be accepted. And I think that this is the club to be accepted in right now. And that's where they're going to go. There is a lot of people out there who don't know anything. When I tell you, they live and die off of social media, the memes, whatever. They follow that. I want to be like this person. I want to be like this person. He definitely wanted to be like Nicki Minaj. Everybody has this ideology that they have to follow, but nobody wants to do anything on their own. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't have their own brain because of social media. Let's keep going.
As hip-hop, that was always going to be an obstacle to overcome. And with Lil Nas choosing to deploy it by being as loud and proud with his sexuality as possible, it's definitely not ever been something listeners could forget. Still, he had high hopes of a lengthy career.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I see myself somewhere that I can't even imagine right now. Yeah.
With your music, do you see it taking off? Do you want to focus on that?
Yeah, I want to do music, but I'm also going to do a lot of other stuff too, so it's not just one source of income type of thing.
Absolutely. Are we gonna have more country hip hop songs coming out?
Yeah, I can't say that for sure how many or when, because I'm not going to force any kind of music. So if it works, then it's working. But if it doesn't, then
And it was easy to see why. After all, between a chaotic Twitter account and his use of music videos, he was quickly being hailed as a marketing genius.
This dude has literally memed his way to the top. Like, this dude is incredibly plugged into meme culture, millennial and Zoomer humor. The dude really seems to understand what his audience wants.
Despite initial fears that he would fade into obscurity, once the buzz over his country rap crossover track died down, he had a slew of tracks like Panini and his Christmas track Holiday, which also did well. But everyone knew he was up against the expectation that he couldn't exceed what he's done, including Lil Nas himself.
The truth is, Old Town Road is like super huge. So people they're looking for stuff to say, I guess, that could be used against me, And even though I have a song Rodeo 2 times platinum, Panini 5 times platinum, Holiday is doing really great, it's like, oh, we don't care, you're still a one-hit wonder. And it's like, that doesn't make sense. How is that possible? And some people may genuinely think so, which is fine, because there are some people that aren't super into pop culture, so they may only know this thing about me, and I guess it's fine. It's something, I carry on my back. There's literally people that say things like, why is he even still making music? He'll never have a song that's bigger than... It's like, that literally doesn't make sense in logic. It's like, I'm making music because I love making music.
Initially, it looked to be...
Okay, so that right there is the absolute reason why he fell off. People stop caring about the antics. You can have all of this stuff, but your music doesn't do anything for people. At the end of the day, you can have 100 songs that went platinum. It doesn't matter. If this music doesn't do anything for people, they're going to remember you for the first track. Even if all the other tracks are successful, it's not going to matter. Because Old Town Road did something for people. You know what I'm saying? It did. A lot of people like that song. It did something for people. All the rest of your songs, whether they went platinum or whatever, they were successful, people don't care for those songs because they're only still going off of your first song. They maybe liked you because they liked your sound, and it was a trickle down effect. But it's not something that people are going to cling to like they cling to Old Town Road. So this is why people say you're a one-hit wonder. I don't think you're a one-hit wonder because I think you got several hits. But I also believe why people think you're a one-hit wonder, because they only know whenever someone talks about Lil Nas X, the first thing they say is Old Town Road, or they say Antics. That's it.
A concern, as while other songs received fanfare, they didn't have anywhere near that kind of motion that his breakout hit did. However, it wouldn't be long until he hit it big again. The only problem is that once he got that second #1, he began running that formula into the ground, to the point that it'd also be the beginning of the end. In 2020, Lil Nas X unveiled the now notorious Montero Call Me By Your Name. Not long after Old Town Road dropped, he was teasing new tracks, and he knew he had to come with something special for the rollout of this song when the snippet started to gain traction.
I put the snippet out in like June. I was like, oh, people really fucking with this. I didn't know what was gonna happen, but it was like my biggest like snippet, you know? I was like, cool. And I immediately started thinking, I was like, what should I do for this video? And I got this one lyric that's called, if even in your garden, you know that you can't call me when you want, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, let me take this to like these religious theme and flip it on to my own, you know? And I had a lot of fun with it. And I kind of like took something that really made me hate myself as a child and kind of made it into my own thing, you know?
The end result was a music video
that was a disaster. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. The music video probably was watched, but it was watched in disgust. See, there's a difference between, because see, people think that becoming infamous is something good. It's not. You can't keep pushing the envelope thinking that you're not going to get some backlash for it. Absolutely, you're going to get backlash for it, because you're down. Now you are deliberately spitting in people's face. It's not like you're doing this just to do it because you really feel this way or whatever. You are spitting in people's face who believe in these things. And that's not good, because guess what? And believe it or not, a core audience of your fans do have a higher power that they believe in. And if you're mocking that, what do you think is going to happen? You think they're just going to be okay with that? Oh, no, it's cool because I like you. No, they like their Lord and Savior more than you. That's what it is. This is why people probably fell out with you and really didn't like you like that no more.
A whole host of religious imagery, and even featured him giving the devil a lap dance prior to snapping his neck. But that's not all. Alongside a whole host of proactive posts on social media, the rollout of the track was accompanied by the release of the special edition Air Max Nikes featuring a whole host of satanic symbolism. And with that, Lil Nas X became the enemy of conservative media and had pastors losing their minds.
I didn't even know who Lil Nash X was. Little thug, whoever. I had no idea who he was. We was riding this morning. Hudson said, well, you know what made him famous? I said, well, he was at Horses. Got my horses and whatever that song. I was like, man, that song got a cool beat. I'll never be able to listen to it again. Bunch of devil worshiping, wicked nonsense. Pentagram wearing on your Nike tennis shoes 666. You think I'm gonna stand for that? You've lost your mind. You tell Lil Nash X I said so. Bunch of Satanism, bunch of wickedness, bunch of devilism, bunch of demonism, bunch of psychotic wickedness.
All the while, the track rose to #1, eventually going 7 times platinum. Once again, the belief from the music industry was that the
And there you have it. The track goes 7 times platinum. It rose to #1. And the reason why is because there are a lot of people who hate everything he talked about in that song. They hate everything the visuals showed. A lot of people are anti-Christ. A lot of people are anti-this. A lot of people don't like religion being pushed in their face. A lot of people are, they move differently. But him coming out with these sneakers, and the sneakers have the pentagram, the Star of David, what is that? The pentagram on the shoe. Devil worshiping, and he's clearly saying this, right? He's clearly saying this. I don't see how anybody could support something like that when I don't care if you believe he's trolling or not. There's a difference. I mean, there's a thin line between trolling and seriousness for some people. Some people take you serious. Some people think you trolling. And I think that him doing that that was to me, that was the end of his career. I said, he ain't gonna never come back from this, because whoever is putting him up to doing this, and he think that this is funny, or he think that this is something that is gonna help him. Nah, nope. Because one thing we can all agree on, we all don't like the devil. So no matter which side you lean on, no matter what political party you with, we all don't like the devil. That's as simple as that.
Columbia-backed artist understood exactly what he was doing. A powerful music video can spark a larger conversation and create a real movement. Kevin Meenan, music charts manager at YouTube, said to Billboard, Lil Nas X has been very explicit that this was his goal. He's a genius. He really knows how to capitalize on the moment and keep it going. But while he was naturally celebrated by the LGBTQ community for pushing boundaries, it marked the point that hip-hop began to lose sight of what he was trying to do.
And this is the issue that I have with why are y'all excited about him spitting in the face of what people believe in? If you want to push the boundaries, do something that doesn't spit in the face of people's belief. It's the same argument that y'all make when people say certain things about y'all. It's the same argument. Again, the offenders or the people who being offended criticizing the people who's doing the offending. And it's like, oh, I offend you, but you can't offend me because I'm delicate, because I'm soft and I can't take the things that you could say to me and hurt my feelings. But just know I can offend you if I want to, but don't say nothing back to me. That's what this is.
I think the biggest problem for me is the fact that he don't understand Old Town Road is every kid's anthem. Tweeted Joyner Lucas in the wake of its release. Children love him for that record. They tuned in and subscribed to his channels. So with no disclaimer, he just dropped some left field-ish and all of our kids seen it. Shaking my head. And from this point on, Lil Nas had to acknowledge that he wasn't fitting in with rap music anymore, or even being deemed as an artist working in that field. Honestly, I don't feel as respected in hip-hop or many music places in general. Lil Nas X told XXL, but these are communities that I am a part of, whether people would like it or not. This is something that I wanted to do because, not that my entire album is rap, but there are rap tracks on my album. I am a rapper, I am a pop star, I am a gay artist. But it's like, I belong in these places, you know? Despite his belief that he should be given credit where it's...
That's another thing that I can't stand, when people try to tell you where they belong and then tell you where you don't belong. Or they tell you that you can't be here. It's like, wait, so let me get this right. So if I say to you, I don't think that you should be in this space, and you say, no, I should be in this space, and I tell you what, everything in this space doesn't agree with you, and you say, I don't care, I still should be here, but everything in this space doesn't agree with your ideology, why would you want to be in this space? It's always the thing with me when it comes to black people, right? Why do black people, not black people, but certain black people, I'm going to say that. Why do certain black people always want to get accepted by the same white people they say hates them? I never understood that. It's like, if I know that this party that I'm going to, everybody in there don't like me, right? Everybody in that party, they don't like me. Why would I go to that party? For what? Why? I already know that they don't like me over there. That's how I feel about people when they say stuff like what he just said. I belong here. But everybody don't like you here. So why would you want to be there? Why not say, okay, no, I'm going to be here because this is where I'm loved at. I know a lot of people probably saying, well, everybody don't have to like you. But if you are in a community, and let's say you was born in this community. Okay, cool. I get it. You are part of that community. But within that community, there are subsections of the community who don't agree with certain things. You can't make people agree with you. If they just disagree with you, they disagree with you. That's just what it is. Right?
Much of the hip-hop establishment continued to rally against him. And stunts like pretending to be pregnant with his album didn't improve his credibility either.
Like when I'm talking about this shit, I'm so serious. This dude is trolling, bro. Like, hey, bro, I'm not fucking with Lil Nas. It's what the world is accepting. You know, they're accepting it because, like, you taking girls' Instagram for showing their nipples or printing their nipples. But you can let a man be pregnant? You can let a man be pregnant and it's cool? With all these young boys watching, you can let a man be pregnant on social media? But a woman can't show her nipple or her pussy print? Y'all better wake up, bro.
Because of his reputation.
That's 100% facts. I know a lot of y'all gonna hate that comment, but it's the truth. So women could get on here and they'll get blocked, banned, kicked off the site for doing anything that they deem is egregious or offensive or goes against community guidelines. Right? That's on YouTube, all of them. But let Lil Nas X, who is mocking pregnancies, jump online, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and troll or pretend or whatever as if he's a man pregnant. And everybody's okay with it. Because we live in a society where people don't want to offend people even though they're getting offended. So they'll take it. But they don't want to offend the person that's offending them. So he gets online and does this, puts this fake baby in his stomach, and he laughs about it. And y'all okay with it. Because y'all don't want to offend him, even though he's offending you. I just don't get it.
Jack Harlow claimed he was advised not to work with Lil Nas X. However, the end result of Industry Baby giving him his first #1 meant that it clearly paid off. As for Lil Nas' debut album Montero, the record was received well in the commercial and critical worlds, scoring 126,000 first-week sales. But while the album did well, it's fair to say that no songs had the same buzz as those big singles, and there was a general mystery over where he went from there. However, Lil Nas suggested that he had a lot more to do, and he wasn't going to be defined by the success of Old Town Road. In fact, he argued he would actually surpass it.
Is it hard to outdo yourself when you have the biggest song of all time and it continues to grow? Just went 15 times platinum?
It's not. I mean, because there's always other areas that I can go bigger in. And it's always, I know for a fact, I promise this. So we'll have this footage when it happens. I'm going to have more weeks at #1 with a different song than Old Town Road. I promise.
Yet, since then, it hasn't really panned out that way. Not only has he not replicated.
That's the one thing people can't promise when it comes to music. You can't promise that because people, feelings, music, listening, everything changes within a second. I'll tell you like this. People's feelings change really fast when it comes to music. They'll be your favorite artist this year, the next year, you don't even know you no more. There's a lot of artists who came in and went just like that. He's no exception to the rule. I don't care if you have 100 singles. You have to keep working. And he put himself in a bad position. And the position he put himself in the position where he had to try to overcome because he kept saying these things. And he kept doing things that was more him trying to double down on whatever instead of just sticking to making music. He wanted to make imagery that was controversial. And it wasn't even about the music. Because people, they watched his videos, they didn't care what he was saying. They just wanted to see what he was doing. And doing stuff doesn't always equate to being a good artist. Especially when you're offending people and people are laughing about it. And they laughing at your demise and you don't even know it.
His earlier successes, but he's actually slid into irrelevance as his buzz and the marketing strategies which created it in the first place have began to lose their steam. During his initial run, there was a lot made of how Lil Nas X seemed to have the knowledge of how to elevate his music with publicity stunts, as whenever there was controversy, he managed to use it to his advantage. But while some hailed him as a genius, others predicted that these ploys had a ceiling on them, at times even making unfavorable comparisons to explain where the they felt he was as an artist.
I've now realized that Lil Nas X is nothing more than a talented troll. He's talented at gaining attention and leveraging the fact that he's homosexual to heighten attention because we all care about the LGBTQ community. Lil Nas X will use and troll that attention and keep drumming it up to hopefully promote records. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Lil Nas X is nothing but a gay 6ix9ine.
Over the course of an explosive rant,
That's crazy. Bruh. Damn. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. And it's kind of true. I know Nas X obviously bigger than 6ix9ine, but pause. But it's obviously true. That's crazy.
Went even further and suggested that the whole strategy was transparent.
There's no judgment here when it comes to what you prefer, but it's only to disguise the fact that since Old Town Road, I don't know a song, and you could show them all these other songs hitting the charts, Spotify's listening crazy. I don't know another song. That's it. I think all he's doing is because he's not that talented. I don't think Lil Nas X is that talented. I think once I saw him just trying to troll it up, I'm like, oh, you couldn't find the record. Because let's rewind. The Lil Nas X breakaway song was a parody. He didn't make country music. He was a gay dude running a Nicki Minaj fan page and made a song as a joke.
Still, at the time, Lil Nas acted like the
I can't even front. He telling the truth. That's not a lie. I said that earlier. That's again, this is whoever. I'm gonna put it to you like this. And then I don't want to shit on Lil Nas X. I'm not trying to do that. But I am going to say I don't think that this is all him. I believe that this is all orchestrated to push this ideology through him. I don't think he came up with some of these ideas. I think that he was told and he agreed to it, and he probably had a little bit of feeling about it. And he said, oh, what's the most controversial thing we could do? Oh, let's do this. Because him and what's the name been doing the same thing now. The other guy, Sam Smith, now he's doing the same thing. And Sam Smith has one of the best songs. He has a really good song that I like. You know what I'm saying? But he started doing the same thing at the war shows. They dressing up like the devil. Like what? Why? Why not just perform your song? Why you have to be looking like the devil? That doesn't make sense. People say, oh, because they're trolling, bro. Be like, do you have to troll that way, though? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Criticism couldn't possibly get to his head. He even suggested that he could take the hate in his stride, and he was angering the audience that he was intended to.
You handle it well. When people go at you, you handle it really well, which is surprising because most artists, they can't handle it. You see them break down, you see them get into problems, you see them
I definitely do break down sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm never gonna do that shit publicly.
That's the trick.
And I feel like anybody that's pissed off are the exact people that need to be pissed off, you know?
Clearly, this is a concept that Lil Nas X really has a lot of stake in, because soon it would lead to his first major mistake, when the track J Christ became the first time that his viral marketing either went too far for people or just got boring. A track where he depicted himself as Jesus, the song understandably enraged some people. It even had Kai Cenat ready.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's my point exactly right there. This is what I mean. You do stuff like this, you can't be afraid of the backlash. It's not that you're pushing the envelope. It's just that these people take these things. I'm gonna tell y'all like this, and I'm gonna say all this so I don't have to do a long run at the end. People mock Christianity all the time, bro, but they will not do that to Islam, the Islamic faith. They will not. Christianity, though, and any other faith, they don't mock. But Christianity, oh my God. And listen, I ain't going to say I'm not a Christian. I ain't none of that. I'm just telling y'all from what I read and see. And people play with Christianity all the time. They always mocking Christianity. And I think it's absolutely disgusting to see them do stuff like that. Because they don't even take into consideration that actually hurts people. Because these people believe the same way you believe in a certain thing and you are hurt because they don't believe in you, you doing the same exact thing. And it's disgusting to see. I'm not gonna lie.
To throw hands, even if his word choice was a little ironic considering he was beefing with Lil Nas X.
Yo, fuck that. Yo, Lil Nas X, you could eat my whole dick. I hate that nigga, bro. That shit just popped up in my head, bro. That nigga, bro, nah, word of my mother, bro, God gonna handle you in the right way. I didn't even talk about that yet, bro, but look, God gonna handle you, bro. And you're, bro. What he did? No, bro. What he did? No, bro.
But to others, the fact that he was antagonizing religious groups again just seemed like he'd run out of ideas. He's carving himself out to be a one-trick pony, and the trick is already so damn tired. He took the formula of his past success and transparently tried to replicate it in the most uninspired way imaginable, just frantically smashing the rage bait button. I thought he was an exciting artist to watch after his debut track, but if this track is any indication of what's to come, it's hard to be excited anymore. So while some people were enraged, others were just growing weary of the whole thing, and anyone who felt that the public were likely sick of the whole shtick were proven right when the track peaked at number 69 on the charts. As the backlash raged on, Lil Nas uncharacteristically explained himself.
I wanted to not necessarily apologize, but I wanted to explain like where my head at and where it's been for like the last week. So first of all, when I did the artwork, I knew like there would be some upset people or whatnot, simply because, you know, religion is a very sensitive topic for a lot of people. But I also didn't mean to like mock. This wasn't like a fuck you to you people, fuck you to the Christians. Like, you know, it was not that. It was literally.
And this is another problem that I have with people who do stuff like this, and then they say to you, well, I wasn't doing that to mock you. I wasn't doing that to actually say this. I was actually saying this, and I wasn't doing it to hurt you. But then when someone says that a certain person was born that way and that's who they are, and they say, well, I wasn't doing that to offend you. I'm just telling you what it is. Everybody's up in arms about it. If you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I mean. It's, again, the people who's doing all the offending, they get upset when someone offends them. And it's like, how are you mad? And then on top of that, the people who are giving their honest opinion, they okay with being offended by you, which is crazy.
Me saying, oh, I'm back like Jesus, like that was like the whole thing. I'm not the first person to dress up as Jesus. I'm not the first rapper. I'm not the first artist, and I won't be the last.
However, the public didn't buy it and suggested he only did so to try and make amends when the gamble didn't pay off like before. You very clearly enjoyed the controversy. This whole thing, from the controversy to the apology, feels very forced. Almost like you planned the controversy and an apology. Left reeling from his first big flop, Lil Nas X tried to explain it further during a podcast appearance without really taking any ownership.
That message like turned around and I didn't know how to like do anything with it. It wasn't my chaos anymore. It was the world's, and anything anybody said was true because that's who I am as a person. I'm this troll and I want to make these people mad. And so,
well, I mean, that's kind of what you did to yourself. You can't say that this is the world. No, you created this world. That's the one thing people got to understand. Controversy sells, but controversy will always follow you like your shadow. No matter where you go, no matter what happens, you won't be able to shake it. I'm telling you, especially when you deliberately do it. And that John followed him around everywhere. And it's still following him to this day. He's never going to be able to shake that. So when he says, oh, these people saying this about me because it's, yeah, you put yourself in that box, bro. You shook hands with controversy and you made the controversy your best friend. And this is what happens.
everybody can run with that. And there's nothing I can do about that. I can say as many things as I want, but knowing my history, they look right, I look wrong.
But while he used to look confident in everything he was putting out, Lil Nas admitted he was at a crossroads musically.
You've been so focused and zoned in on what you're doing, and you push your art out into the world, and it's kind of received negatively by the majority, you know what I mean? But then also understanding why and having to like see it through. So I guess that's where I'm at right now. And my next move, you know, the things that I'm planning on right now, I feel like somewhere in here there's going to be this magical moment that I can't even take credit for. And yeah, I feel like that's going to sweep. I feel like that always happens. So
yeah, there's always magic in the messiness.
Yeah.
And just as he struggled to regain his footing after Jay Christ backfired on him, interest has been plummeting ever since. Now, fans have tried to rationalize why he's fading from sight. I feel like he's losing relevance, but it's only because he doesn't know what he wants his next persona to be, so he's trying different moods. For personal reasons, he's retreated from the public eye twice. Jay Christ got a low reception for him, so the label immediately put a bunch of restrictions on him releasing other things. At this time, this was just a fan theory. However, this notion of issues with his label was soon backed up by an account, which is rumored to be run by an undercover music industry insider who claimed in December of 2024 that Lil Nas X had his album scrapped. His label Columbia Records hated the project and asked for a new album. Only 3 songs were saved. Now 4 years on from the release of his debut album, Lil Nas X is in a tough spot. Now, the music isn't hitting as it once did, and even the shock value wore off now that he's generated as much controversy as he could.
Off rip, when he came with the first record, everybody's like, what in the hell? He went from 0 to 100 instantly.
Real
quick. Quick, boom. He instantly was like, wow. And it gave people hope, like, yo, you might be onto something so dope that other little black boys can follow right behind you in this way. And it's showing that they don't have to just rap or do R&B or just like you're singing country music, right? But then the success hit him so hard, that was already part of his low. Then he had to come back around with the other joint where he comes out like, hey, here I am. So that was like, whoa. That was another part of that low. It was like, whoa. So then to come back, once he came out, then he came with the whole video, him giving the devil fellatio. It was just so extreme that I feel like he blew his load. Like people were just at that point like, you can't surprise me with nothing else.
But the main...
That was very well said. That was very well said, except for the part where you say he blew his load. That was funny. Oh my God. Lil Nas X blew his little load. Damn, Lil Nas X. But he's absolutely right about that. I think that people came around and he realized that this guy is just a one-trick pony. And he's never gonna come back. He's never gonna come back. I don't think Lil Nas X is ever gonna come back with something that people are gonna like. I think that once people realize who he is now, the longer he takes off, the worse it is. The faster he come back, the worse it is. Whatever situation he's in, he's gonna have to literally come back and do something totally different from maybe do an alternative rock song or something. But the way he orchestrated this whole thing, his career was that 4 years. That was it. He had his career. I wouldn't even do music no more. I'll just live my life because he's gonna be paid for the rest of his life because those songs are pretty huge. So let's keep it going.
Problem for Lil Nas X is that people just aren't checking for him anymore. These days, behind the scenes footage of his old music videos pulled in more views than new music videos that he's releasing, and it's hard to imagine what it's going to take to change that. Even his dedicated fans are wondering where he goes from here. His new singles aren't doing numbers, and his biggest new single, Hotbox, only has 5 million streams so far. Is Lil Nas X cooked? Another major issue is that Lil Nas X doesn't seem to have the same belief as before. Just look at this deleted post where he shared snippets and then second-guessed himself, asking fans if they were any good. Been hoarding music for years, shaking my head. I hate my relationship with fear of my songs not doing well and perception. I wish I could just release music and not give a fuck. Anyways, enough venting here. What's your guys' top 2 of these snippets? Where criticism used to roll off his back, the backlash he's experienced in recent years has clearly infiltrated his mind. And one thing we know by now is that artists can triumph when they're in their heads to that degree. That's when you start trying to make music to appease audiences rather than just what you want. And now, the verdict is that he's making subpar tracks.
This is not a very catchy track from Nas X. He's written far catchier songs in the past. Like, the whole F Up the Night refrain feels like a forgettable hook from a Kid Cudi record from years ago. So yes, while it does sound big and it does sound expensive, simultaneously, it's shallow, and it's not really bringing a whole lot to get excited about to the table.
Still, Lil Nas acknowledged as he briefly leaked the track Light Again that there's plenty more tracks where that came from, while also hinting at both conflicts with Columbia and how much he is struggling to deal with the pressure to follow up with what he's done before.
All the other shit, of course, like I want to like be #1 all the time. I want every song to go up and I want shit to go crazy. But it's like at the same time, like I want to fucking have fun. I want to go and live life. I just want to make music. I don't want to have to do crazy shit all the time. I want to make music. I want to fucking have fun. I want to live any fucking way. Y'all go and listen to Light Again on SoundCloud because it's my favorite song ever. Let's go.
Too in, too back ends, look up.
No matter how much he hyped it up, the track's official video still only landed 3.5 million without making any dent on the Billboard charts. And for him, that might as well be starting from the beginning all over again. Since then, Lil Nas X has been trying to fall back on his capacity for trolling, steering into the idea of being blackballed with self-imposed humiliation rituals on the timeline.
Backpack, 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 everything that you might need, I got it right for you.
But as his new Dream Boy album approaches, it feels like the buzz is basically non-existent. Honestly, the most attention he's gotten recently was from revealing he has Bell's palsy.
And when I smile, this is me doing a full smile right now, by the way. It's like, what the fuck? Bro, I can't even laugh right, bro. What the fuck? Oh my God.
Overall, Lil Nas X is an unfortunate example of what happens when an artist goes back to the well one too many times. Within an instant, people had enough of the same old scheme, and now he's trying to prove to them once more that he has something else to offer. But unless something big changes, he's gonna be stuck with people asking where it all went wrong.
Yeah, man. I love doing videos like that, man. I like doing long videos because keeps people engaged, man. I got a lot to say. Yeah, man. It's very sad to see a lot of us go down this road of propaganda and bull. And I think that a lot of us should call out some of these things, especially coming from like Lil Nas X. I don't care if you are a part of a certain community. Should be called out for it because you are using it. You know, it's no different from you using it like everybody else use whatever they got to get where they need to be. So, but yeah, man. Thank y'all for joining me, man. I really ain't got too much more to say. Shout out to y'all too, man. I'll see y'all on the next one, man. Peace, bye.